Hello, my name is Andy and I am the Village Idiot. I'm armed with a car and a GoPro and an unhealthy amount of time on my hands. I'm using that time to attempt to visit every civil parish in England. You're watching the Rushcliffe series. This is the southernmost district in Nottinghamshire and it contains 59 civil parishes of England. And there's some corkers down here. Let's dive in and check one out. Hello folks, welcome back to Nottinghamshire. Now we're beginning a brand new district today. For the first time we're in the district, the borough of Rushcliffe, which is the one that sits to the south of Nottingham, right on the border with Leicestershire primarily. Now this is a very small village to begin proceedings in this area, but it does have one of Nottinghamshire's biggest and most well-known landmarks, the last coal-fired power station anywhere in the United Kingdom. Welcome to Ratcliffe on Soar. Here's my disclaimer for people who may be watching me for the first time. I say things as I would in my native accent and dialect. As a result, I may not pronounce things in the same way as the locals do. Remember, I'm a visitor. It's impossible to know everything. Leave me a comment, spin me a like and bash that subscribe button. Let's get to today's parish video. Ratcliffe on Soar, Red Hill on the flow of water. Hello Nottinghamshire, it's time to begin the biggest district that remains in your county, Rushcliffe, and we begin proceedings with Ratcliffe on Soar. A tiny village, although it lies in the broad valley of the River Soar, Ratcliffe actually means Red Hill, a name which is still found here today thanks to a marina to the north of the settlement. In the Domesday Book, Ratcliffe was recorded as Radeclive. Despite its small stature, a lot of boat-minded people know this place thanks to the marina. The village itself hasn't got a lot to write home about, but that doesn't mean it's disinteresting. Laid out along two streets perpendicular to each other, Ratcliffe has less than 40 houses, all clustered around a small village green. At one end of its dead-end main street is the Church of Holy Trinity, whose spire can be clearly seen from the A453. There are no shops or schools here, but it's only a couple of miles from the Leicestershire border and the much larger Kegworth, where there's an abundance of both. Ratcliffe's residents enjoy the peacefulness that the Soar Valley offers them, even if there is an industrial eyesore here, the huge towers of the UK's last coal-fired power station, which stands close to East Midlands Parkway railway station. Let's get moving, everybody! Ratcliffe on Soar is one of the smallest villages in Rushcliffe. It only has two main roads, Main Street and Kegworth Road. We begin on the latter. Despite the presence of this bus stop, buses are very few in Ratcliffe. It's only served by the Soar Valley Community Bus. Keep that in mind, it'll make an appearance in a future episode. Kegworth Road runs north to south from the A453 junction to a bridge over the River Soar at Kingston. Dominating the landscape in the distance is the power station, easily the largest landmark in the parish. Amenities are few, but there are some essentials. This old phone box houses the local defib machine, for example. Ratcliffe is too small to sustain much more than just its church. It doesn't have a parish council either, just a meeting. Let's start walking down Main Street now, which is a dead end. You'll notice straight away the houses start to get older. There's no pub or shop here, and it's been several years since there was a school. However, on the left as we near a bend is an old free school, originally built to educate 6 poor children. There are less than 20 houses on Main Street and less than 40 in total. It's a small community. That has its advantages though. Everybody knows everybody here. The White House behind this postbox is where the church warden lives, literally yards away from the church itself. The rest of the road is a mixture of both old and newer properties which have infilled the gaps over the years. Just before Main Street reaches its conclusion, we come to the parish notice board. Tick off Ratcliffe on Soar, folks. 1 down, 58 to go in Rushcliffe. Holy Trinity Church is a Grade 1 listed building. Its size is ridiculous when you consider the size of the village it's serving. It dates from the 13th century, although it was majorly restored in 1886, a project funded by Earl Howe. Inside are numerous memorials to the Chevreul family, who we last met in Morley. There are 3 bells in its tower, but when they're chimed together, they don't sound musical. This is due to them having irregular intervals. The church is part of an informal group known collectively as the 453 churches, as they straddle the road of the same number. At the very end of the road is Manor Farmhouse, an 18th century building that was erected for Nathaniel Curzon. It's Grade 2 listed. Ratcliffe has 5 listed buildings in total, but the farmhouse and the church are the only 2 in the village. The other 3 are all at or close to Hill Marina. Let's make our way back now. On the way we pass over a brook which discharges into the River Soar, after which is the humble little village green. Arguably, it's the green which has the most interesting landmarks of all in Ratcliffe on Soar. There are 2 notable stones here. This one was placed here in the year 2000 to mark the Millennium. Buried underneath it is a time capsule due to be opened in 2100 for the benefit of future generations. The other stone is all to do with a local industry, the mining of gypsum. It's a piece of alabaster which was donated to the village by Lang O'Rourke in 2015. It commemorates the duelling of the A453, Ratcliffe's contribution to the gypsum industry, and the monuments that were produced thanks to it. And also on the edge of the green you've got this shelter which I noticed on the way up. It was clearly built in the year 2000 for the Millennium. That's because that says 2000 there. Now this has got a couple of mosaics in it. There's one here, look, which has Ratcliffe on Soar down the sides, and you've got some wildlife there. You've got a frog in the left hand corner, you've got a swan and some sort of bird. I'm not quite sure what that is, I'm not an ornithologist so I genuinely don't know. There's another one here, look, above. This one's got a narrowboat on it, obviously on a river or a canal. I imagine that's a river, because I would say that's the River Soar. Now, speaking of narrowboats, there is something we need to see yet, which will involve narrowboats, and that's a marina. So let's go back to the car, because the village doesn't have much more than what I've just shown you, and drive up to that and check that out next. This road leads to Hill Marina on the River Soar, located just to the south of Trent Lock, which regular viewers will remember from the Sawley episode. The marina is built on the edge of a Roman site, a scheduled monument that was likely some kind of fort or a small town. It's often affected by severe flooding because it's also built on a designated floodplain. Despite that, it's a popular spot on the River Soar. It lies at the heart of the East Midlands waterway network and offers everything from moorings to marine storage, boat hire and boat sales. It also features a caravan and camping park and the Hill Marina Cafe. The remaining 3 listed buildings are within touching distance of the river. One of them is an 18th century packhorse bridge that connects the 2 sides of Hill Lock. The other 2 are the portals of Hill Tunnel, through which a railway line passes. We're heading for that railway line now, but as we turn around and head back towards Ratcliffe, the unmissable towers of the power station loom large over us. That's next. So there can be no denying it. Ratcliffe on Soar's biggest landmark is that, the power station. It's the last coal-fired power station anywhere in the United Kingdom, and the residents of the village seem to have mixed views of it. Some like it, some don't. Well, let's see if we can work out exactly why they don't. Let's talk about this next. The power station, operated by Uniper, was commissioned in 1968 by the Central Electricity Generating Board. Construction began in 1963. It can generate enough power for some 2 million people, but it's scheduled to be closed by September. The plant emits between 8 and 10 million tonnes of CO2 annually, making it the 18th highest emitting power station in Europe. It was the first power station in the United Kingdom to be fitted with selective catalytic reduction technology, which reduces the emissions of nitrogen oxides. Directly under the 8 massive cooling towers is a railway station, East Midlands Parkway. This is on the Midland Main Line between London and Sheffield. It's one of the newest stations on the UK rail network, opened as it was in 2009. Its primary purpose is to provide a rail link for East Midlands Airport, even though it's 4 miles away from the terminal. There is, however, a shuttle bus between the two. Despite its generally poor location, it's busy. This handles somewhere in the region of 250,000 passengers every year. With that, I made my way down to the A453 via the power station's main entrance in order to reach the next one. This is one complicated little junction, let me tell you. You really have to pay attention to the road signs. Next week, we'll be in a place where you can still see the power station, but its biggest landmark is a very historic house. See you there. Thanks for watching this video, folks. Don't forget to like this episode if you haven't already. It really makes a difference with YouTube. If you're new here, subscribe to the channel for more videos like this, and give us a share too if you've got friends who'd like it. You can find all the links to my social media accounts below, as well as my Buy Me a Coffee page where you can donate to the channel. Also, if you've enjoyed this episode, have a look at some more videos in this series. Until next time, I've been Andy, also known as the Village Idiot, and I'm out.